Hello my scrappy friends and welcome to my channel today. Today I have a stash share with you and I am using a cut file from Cut to You because I wanted to scrapbook these photos of my little brother and myself from 1985. I was flicking through my photo stash, came across these and thought, yep, I'm going to use them. What you're going to see here first is me cutting off the border that came on these photos. Now these are the original print. I am scrapping with the original print. I am totally okay with that. I realise that that is not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm okay with that. First thing I'm doing here is cutting off that border, getting rid of those rounded corners, and I'm going to mount these onto some smooth white cardstock, just so that they match more with the layout I'm going to create. I have cut my cut file on smooth white cardstock as well, and that's why I'm going with the smooth for this. I've actually just used the back of a textured piece of cardstock for this one. And yeah, so these photos were taken, like I said, in 1985. There's 15 months between my brother and myself. We were a bit cute, I must say. And I just thought this You and Me title was really cute. I wanted to use that little porcupine in the Hey Hello collection, and so I just thought that they would work really well. I was happy with the way the colours work. But with that being more of a white modern collection, I did want to bring some more of the white into the photos because obviously, you know, these photos are 35 years old. So that's why I chose the white cardstock for the layer behind the photo. I'm going to come on live and explain my paper background choice, so I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my cut file here backed and I've got my photos on white cardstock. And I thought that I was going to go with something light and pink, and I've got my 4 papers here that I thought I would choose from. This was my first choice. You can see that the cut file just kind of blends in. The second choice, that one's better. Then my third one was this pink, which I like the contrast of that better. But then as I was flipping through my papers, I found this dark green, which I thought really made the cut file and the photos pop. I'm unsure if I'm going to keep the branding strip or not, and take that much off the top. I really do like that branding strip, and it brings the white down as well. So that's kind of where I'm at, and yeah, I'll pop you back on fast forward, and yeah, that's how I decided on this green one. Okay, so I am going to muck around with the placement here for a bit. It did take me a little while to get I've kind of gone with a bit of a grid design here, as you can see, and it did take me a while to come up with this particular configuration, but I'm really happy with it. The thing that I struggled the most with is we are looking right, and I didn't really want to have my photos on the right side of the page, but it was the only way I could get it to work for it all to look kind of the way that I wanted it to. So I am really happy with this. I'm not staring at my photos going, oh my goodness, we're looking off the page. It's a big issue when I look at this layout. So I'm really happy with how this one came out. I did want to make that bigger photo a bit more of a feature, so I am going to add some foam and then a couple of layers of paper behind it. I'm using that mustardy coloured yellow that is also in the title, and then that floral, and I'm going to fussy cut out the rest of the flowers from that piece of paper. Like I said, I didn't get very much from this collection. I've got the 6x8 paper pad, those glittery, puffy, awesome, cute stickers. You can see I've got 3 of those on my page. I think I got the 6x12 stickers and the ephemera. So I didn't get heaps, but I've got enough that I feel like I can work with the collection. As I mentioned, I did pull out 3 of those puffy, cute little stickers. I'm starting with that porcupine because he's just adorable. Where I laid those 3 pieces out, so there's the porcupine on the title pretty much and overlapping the photo. The butterfly is going to go up to the top right of the title, and then the love heart is going to go to the bottom right of the photos. Wanted to bring in, I had to bring in some mixed media. It's a Melinda page. So white India ink, and then my gold. I used shimmers actually for that, I think. Minor 49er. I chose the gold because, like I said, some of this collection, some of this collection has got gold in it, and you can see it here in this flower that I'm fussy cutting. I do want to leave this one little bit in for you, just so that you can see how I fussy cut. If you have any questions, sharp, smallish pair of scissors, move the paper, not the scissors. I'm sure that you've seen it 100,000,000 times. However, if you would like any tips on fussy cutting, leave me a comment and I will do my best to answer them. So yes, I'm just showing that I'm going to fussy cut those. I still hadn't decided about this branding strip. So what I decided to do was cut it off. I figured that if I chose to use it, it would be easy enough to stick it back on. But if I cut off the top, it would be really difficult for me to like fix that. I use that word in little air quote thingies. So I decided to chop it off, and I would be able to add it on and take it off to audition it. Just tacking that cut file down, I do want to make sure it's in the middle of the page. And like this whole page is really a very central composition, so it's kind of centered from top to bottom and then centered from left to right as well. It does go a little bit further over to the right hand side. That's because of the embellishing I do, but again, I'm quite happy with that, especially I think with us looking off the page. Having the embellishments go off the page and trimming them down, I think just makes that work really well. So I'm just gluing my cut file down here. I didn't want to pick it up and flip it over and glue it down, so I'm just adding my adhesive. Some of it is being added directly to my background, and some of it I'm adding to the cut file instead. I did notice that some of my cut file edges were lifting up, so I'm just using a tiny bit of my Scotch tacky glue to make sure that's sticking. Just in case you can hear, it is still the school holidays here. Well, technically it's the Sunday before school goes back tomorrow. My kids are out the back. They took themselves off out the back all by themselves, and I can hear them playing. I haven't been out and interrupted them. I'm like, I'm just going to leave them be. So if you can hear weird noises, it's them playing, being loud, but they're outside and outside, which is very exciting. So you can see here, I'm just lining this up, making sure I've got the composition where I like it. You may have noticed I added some pop dots underneath the leaves to the top right of the cut file. I just wanted a little bit of dimension there, but I didn't want the whole lot popped up. Adding a tiny bit of foam to these two photos. Man, we were cute. I sent a photo of this layout to my brother. I said, look, I scrapbooked us, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be famous. How embarrassing. But yes, we were so cute. He's in that same reply, he's like, oh my goodness, Mickey Mouse is photobombing me. So in the close-ups, you should be able to see it. But yeah, on my brother's photo, the one in the middle, there is a Mickey Mouse over his shoulder. It's really quite funny. So adding my little hedgehog, I had to make sure I got him on. Little butterfly. And then, so because I've added those pattern paper layers underneath that photo, it's kind of cut down the space I had to play with there. So I'm playing with this heart. I do stick it down here, but I move it. Underneath the hedgehog, I have put some foam because of the machine stitching around the photos, but also the foam has bumped that up a little bit. So I've added some foam behind him where he's not stuck to the photo. These are the Fussy Cut Flowers that I have cut out, and you can see I'm just going to play with them. I have cut out most of me moving the flowers a gazillion, 100,000 million times because it's not fun viewing. And then I do the exact same thing down here. I add flowers, I take them away, I move them, I add them, I take them, I shift them, I rotate them to finally come up with a placement that I'm happy with. But the ones on the left behind the hedgehog stay exactly where they are, and you can see I'm playing here. So my heart moves up there, and I'm like, oh, I can add between my layers here. I think this is what's going to work. So you can see I'm just playing with the flowers. Again, this is going to cut out again. I'm going to come back, and I'm happy with that composition. I'm going to leave that there while I have a think about what I'm doing. I popped that branding strip back down the bottom so I could see if I wanted to include it, and I really like, I feel like it really balances the colour and almost lifts the whole layout. So I'm really happy with that down there, and I am going to add it back in. Just tucking these flowers in. As you can see, I have used a lot of the ones that have come from the edge of the pattern paper and tucking those underneath. So I'm just going to tack this branding strip down. I wanted to bring the stitching down as well, so that's why I just used a tiny bit of adhesive on there. Trim this off. I'm pretty sure the other cluster of florals was already stuck down. I do find a little home for this little tiny piece. I thought that little bit of the ampersand sticking out looked a bit funny, so I just added a tiny floral there. Adding in some more little foam pads for a little bit of dimension, making sure everything's stuck. Then I'm like, okay, I need some little bits. So I found these gold hearts. These are, they're shiny gold, but they're almost matte, which I really like. So I'm going to add 3 of those. 1, 2. So because I've got those 3 puffy sticker shaker thingies, they're so cool. I love them. I kind of went, well, that's where my clusters are going to go. And so that's what I'm working with. I did want to bring in a label or something I could write on, so I managed to match some of my print and cut labels. The colour that I've got here is very close to that mustard in the you and me part, and so that's what I'm going to use. I'm adding some journaling. I think I'm just putting our ages there, so I think it says Melinda 4 years and 9 months or whatever it is, and Aaron 3 years and whatever it is, I can't remember. So I've removed a floral and tucked that label in and then popped that floral back in. I have had these little hearts in my stash forever, but that yellow is again a perfect match. So I am going to sprinkle 3 different sized hearts in each of the 3 clusters. And just as a side note, I've also, so the leftovers of those labels that I used on this page that I had left, I have popped in with my little baggie of goodies from this collection. And I've also popped in these enamels because they match so well. I was like, I'm just going to put them all together so that I remember I've got them when I come back to this collection. So yeah, it's almost like putting a kit together. So I've got those 3. Do try for a little while to get these other labels in. I'm like, nope. And then I think I've popped in there the date, so May 1985 with 3 hearts, just showing you that I'm going to add the stitching along that bottom line. It is just a simple straight stitch, some close-ups on the video, and then it's going to jump over to all of my still photos. I hope you've enjoyed this share today. I do love being able to play with my stash just because it doesn't happen particularly often, but this was super fun. I mean, check out that little hedgehog. Isn't he the cutest? I just want to cuddle him, and like puffy and glittery, and I just love them so much. So I hope you've enjoyed my share today. I will make sure I leave a link to this cut file in the description box below. As always, if you have any questions, please make sure you leave them for me. Otherwise, thanks so much for stopping by, and I will see you again very soon with another share. Have a fantastic day.